So what was I going to say? Consciousness, science can never prove consciousness is not a requirement of the universe. In fact, because there's less than no evidence for it, there's evidence that the universe required the creation of consciousness to exist. Now, when I say that, I mean that the rules that govern the universe and the creation of consciousness existed within the universe, or the laws of the universe, at its inception. Meaning, the second the universe was created, consciousness had to be created. You know what I mean? Due to the structure and reality of the universe, consciousness had to kind of be created, because the universe we have is the universe we have. 1 equals 1. If you have the universe we have and you minus consciousness from it, it equals another fucking universe that isn't ours. That potentially and most likely doesn't even fucking exist. The only universe we have is a universe that has created consciousness within its inherent structure. And as such, there is no point or position to which you can ever say that you can minus consciousness from the existence of the universe and get any honest representation of anything, because we don't know how to take consciousness out of the universe itself because of the fact that we are conscious. That's exactly what it is. I've been trying to put it in as an equation. So like solving for X, algebra, simple algebra. So you have the universe plus consciousness equals reality. All right. Okay. So the thing is that we're putting consciousness, our consciousness, into the equation. There's nothing you can ever fucking do to subtract consciousness from this side of the equation and subtract consciousness from that side of the equation, because to subtract consciousness from the universe would require that we don't fucking exist. So we will literally, and I mean literally, never be able to know what a universe without consciousness looks like. You dumb motherfuckers. So naturalism is the most moronic thing in the world, because of the fact, not only can you never prove it, but it literally does not functionally exist, cannot functionally exist, because in order for naturalism to exist, we would have to not be here. Okay, how do I put this? You can't say the universe would be the way the universe was perfectly fine without consciousness, because the universe is the way the universe is. Do you understand? Like, I can't say that there is a universe. I mean, the many worlds theory is, I don't know. I think it's bullshit, but it's. But see, this is the problem. The many worlds theory is still in consciousness. If you take away consciousness away from the freaking equation, it doesn't exist. And so even if the many worlds theory was wrong or right, which I don't think it is, you still couldn't comprehend it without consciousness. So consciousness is still an inherent predication to look at the potential truth and reality of that potential truth and reality. If consciousness doesn't exist, then honestly, any capacity to even observe or consider that doesn't exist either. Consciousness, the universe requires consciousness in a whole bunch of ways. And well, this is pretty much what I'm saying. I won't say that as an unequivocal fact. I think I'm working on the proof of that. I think there might be a pretty good, I mean, there's an excellent argument for it, but I don't know if I've completed it in its entirety. But simply put, the universe is the way the universe is. The universe has consciousness. As far as we can know or ever know, the universe requires consciousness to exist. We can literally never not know that like we can know for a fact that the universe has consciousness. You know what I mean? So for an unquestionable fact, we know for a fact that the universe has consciousness. That one of the elements of the universe as it exists, as we know it, requires consciousness. We will never know our universe doesn't require consciousness, because we will always be conscious to find that information. Do you understand? It's like there's only one path. And you know what I mean? There's like, exactly. It's like you're walking in the mountains. There's literally one path through this fucking mountain. Now you can talk about how, you know, there might be another path this way or might be another path that way, but they don't fucking exist. You know what I mean? You're talking about something doesn't exist. Our universe is one path. Now you could talk about a whole bunch of other paths. Doesn't mean they exist. And it's clear to our existence They don't exist. The only path we have within our universe that solidified, and we know for an unequivocal question exists, is our one universe. And on our one universe, on this one path, consciousness has been created. Okay? So you take the universe back to its inception, consciousness was a product of this pathway that the universe took. No other pathway exists. Okay? Now we can think about other pathways, but they don't exist. We exist in the one pathway where consciousness was a creation. Like, science can't disprove that. You know what I mean? And science can't even argue to say that consciousness is not an inherent portion of the universe, because it fucking is, obviously. To say that consciousness is the same as a rock and there's no inherent difference, and that at the end of the day, the universe would exist just the way it was, just the way it does without consciousness, is a fucking pathway in your goddamn imagination that doesn't fucking exist. Sincerely. And the truth is, the path that we're on requires consciousness for observation, okay? So that means that literally, so you have the universe, you have this pathway, consciousness created. Now literally everything we see and think is based and predicated off of consciousness. So no matter where you go, if you go off, the trail or whatever, consciousness is still required for that observation. So at no point in time on this path or on this journey or on this walk will you ever get away from functional consciousness. So at the end of the day, science isn't predicated off of objectivity. Science is predicated off of the existence of consciousness. And as such, science can never disprove the very thing that it was created from. Science can never prove or even make a fucking argument functionally that consciousness isn't important. There is no capacity for that argument to be created, because consciousness is literally the basis to which we use to see and observe fucking everything. Okay? So any atheists out there who are like, well, I have evidence for a bottle. Okay, yes, that's fine. Well, I have evidence for consciousness, you dumb shit. Like, I have evidence that if it wasn't for consciousness, this wouldn't exist. Okay? I have consciousness that if it wasn't for consciousness, your argument wouldn't fucking exist. Do you have any evidence if it wasn't for our existence that this would exist? Any evidence whatsoever? No, because we have one goddamn pathway. One pathway through the world, through the universe, and a created consciousness. You can never prove that consciousness is not an inherent and needed element of the universe, because it is an inherent element of the fucking universe. It'd be like saying that, the universe would be fine without gravity. Well, you can say that shit, but it's a fantasy imaginated world that does not fucking exist. And in the reality in the universe that does exist, it requires fucking consciousness, or the laws of the universe. I mean, it's just like, it's to say that a thing is a thing. 1 equals 1. Okay? That's all it is. To say that the universe required, that the universe, that consciousness is a required creation of the universe we have, is not some type of complex understanding. It's a literal 1-to-1 ratio. Does the universe exist? Yes. Does consciousness exist? Yes. Okay. Can a universe that is the universe that we have, the only universe that we have, exist without consciousness? No! No, it can't. That's a 1, 2 equals not 1. And 1 will never equal not 1. A universe without consciousness is not 1. It is not 1. So how about you dumb motherfuckers who have no functional capacity, have any basic comprehension of science, shut the fuck up. Because goddamn, man, you guys are stupid and it hurts me. It's just like, yeah. I had to dumb my shit down like 20 fucking levels to explain this shit. Fuck them. Them niggas, they start talking too much shit to me. You want to talk shit, bitch? I used to argue against like 14 atheists by myself. And you ain't ready. And it's just like, and this is just logical. It's like, yeah, consciousness isn't important. Rocks are just as important as consciousness. You think that with your fucking consciousness, you goddamn idiot. Like, you know what I mean? Oh my god. If like literally, if it wasn't for your consciousness, that would not exist. That consideration would not exist. There would not be that determination nor that differential. It's because you consciously exist that determination and that differential even have the capacity to be considered. And it's just like, I don't. It's that, like I said in the previous video, is that you cannot use consciousness in any way to disprove consciousness or disprove the value of consciousness, because that requires consciousness. You know what I mean? I think he's dumb fucking asses. Like, navel gazing bullshit. He doesn't understand philosophy. Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I had to dumb my shit so goddamn down. Like, I was just like, no, this really makes sense.